You've got it all wrong.
Welcome to WatchMojoUK, and today we're counting down our picks for those British telly programmes that have contained some surprisingly dark storylines, themes, or visuals.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
Number 10. Pipkins. This retroactive idea of appraised darkness doesn't always have to be intentional. Oftentimes, children's programming designed with the best of intentions can occasionally achieve the opposite effect.
And today I'm going to talk to you about being naughty.
We're sure that the creators behind Pipkins didn't intend for their animals to retain this dead-eyed and disturbing look to the features, yet many of us who watch back the surviving episodes of this series now can't help but wonder how these things made it to air.
You can be naughty with a glove puppet, can't you, Michael?
The old adage, "it was a different time," certainly speaks to some of why Pipkins looks the way it does, while those of us who actively seek out this sort of grotesquerie can't help but celebrate how effectively off Hartley Hare and company appear today.
Oh, dearie me, Michael. We have been getting into lots of trouble, haven't we? Yes.
Number 9. Orman Cheap. It isn't out of the ordinary for programmes designed even for very young children to feature some sort of antagonist.
Must be my lucky day, and I certainly deserve a lucky day. That looks like my breakfast over there.
Sometimes it's an evil wizard, or a bad guy with this very nebulous desire to take over the world. Then there's the situation with Orman Cheap, a worm and bird who become friends after the latter falls out of its nest. Opportunities for lessons and learning do present themselves for our titular duo, but much more pressing is the presence of a rat and crow.
Look, it's Crow. He's seen us and he's going to attack. We haven't time to run away.
These latter villains actively attempt to consume our protagonists during the run of Orman Cheap, which is admittedly pretty dark stuff for a programme that's essentially aimed at toddlers.
Anything and everything, and today I'm going to eat you.
Number 8. Worel Gummage. We admit that it's nice for a change to be able to single out the missteps of a more recent programme. This, as opposed to the numerous sins so many older shows have committed against their youthful, innocent audience. The OG adaptation of the Worel Gummage series of novels remains beloved by many, with the titular scarecrow being wonderfully portrayed by Doctor Who actor John Pertwee.
Good evening, young man.
Good evening.
Sir. Good evening, sir.
Enter the 2019 reboot, and a character redesign that frankly seems beyond the pale. Some fans and parents complained that this new iteration of Worel Gummage possessed more than a passing resemblance to Freddy Krueger of the Nightmare on Elm Street horror franchise. And you know what? We totally see it, and would like it to be taken away, please.
This is slightly awkward.
Number 7. Grizzly Tales for gruesome kids. Every new generation of kids has that first show to lend them some real scares. For some, it was Goosebumps, while others watched Are You Afraid of the Dark? The Grizzly Tales for Gruesome Kids book series was another one of these anthology franchises that saw its book series adapted to television.
I'm your new nanny.
The end results proved to be a fan favourite among many youths that grew up during the early millennium. This was a series that could be funny, scary, and at the same time provide some very realistic consequences for those characters that run afoul of morality or good behaviour.
Watch and learn. Watch and learn.
Oh, and that claymation intro certainly feels like nightmare fuel today, doesn't it?
Grew and grew and grew until Serena had completely disappeared!
Number 6. Doctor Who. It may be said that Doctor Who isn't a programme that's designed specifically with children in mind. That said, the series' prestige as one intrinsically linked with UK identity meant that a lot of children were certainly watching Who, whether they were allowed to or not. This meant that Doctor Who's many examples of character deaths were being aired into homes all around Britain. Older Who episodes were actually quite infamous for how much sci-fi violence was involved within their plotlines. Meanwhile, characters such as the Daleks, Cybermen, and particularly the Autons from the Doctor's Spearhead in Space serial remain profoundly creepy today. Number 5. Emus All Live Pink Windmill Show.
Now quiet! Quiet! While I think up one of my fiendish plans.
We really only have a single word to reference this programme featuring Rod Hull and his puppet emu, grotbags. This was a wicked witch whose arrival was usually accompanied by screams of all children playing inside the pink windmill. Grotbags was consistently trying to take Emu away, although the witch did occasionally come across a little nicer during her game show segment. Even this part of Emu's all-live Pink Windmill Show wasn't perfect, however, since its game of chance often contained some rotten prizes that would go home with the contestant should they fail at bargaining with grotbags.
You have won a used railway ticket!
Number 4. The Animals of Farthing Wood. There's a long and somewhat troubled history of animated animals being placed within dramatic peril, while simultaneously scarring young viewers for life. One standout is The Animals of Farthing Wood, a book series adaptation that never shied away from realistically depicting death and loss to its youthful audience. Small animals, cute animals, basically no animal from Farthing Wood is safe from the jaws of death, the barrel of a gun, or the wheels of a lorry. We understand the importance of having difficult discussions about mortality with our children, but The Animals of Farthing Wood almost felt prurient with its fixations upon tragedy and death.
You're the bravest fox I've ever met. I'm proud of you.
Number 3. Look and Read. The long-running Look and Read series wasn't one that featured traumatically scary stuff on a weekly basis.
Look! Look at the picture!
That said, there have been examples, such as Dark Towers, or The Boy from Space, that left an indelible mark upon those who watched them back in the day. The latter special in particular featured a character called the Thin Man, whose arrival was underscored by some unsettling synthesizer music.
He was tall and thin, and he had a mac and a hat on. He looked very pale and strange.
The danger of his creepy approach towards the children is played up with dire seriousness, and this makes the Thin Man feel like an early experiment with fear for much of Britain's 1980s youth. Number 2. Jigsaw. Everybody's fear tolerance is different, but for the life of us we can't figure out how anybody saw Mr. Nosybonk from Jigsaw and didn't cower in the corner. There's just something shudder-inducing and profoundly weird about this big-nosed, dead-eyed monstrosity. Mr. Nosybonk wasn't a villain, nor did he seem to possess anything but the best of intentions. Jigsaw, after all, wasn't a show that intended to scare its audience. We're assuming that its creators simply saw Mr. Nosybonk as silly or irreverent, but one look at this thing and we frankly can't see anything remotely safe about this character. Number 1. Children of the Stones. Never underestimate the power of music. The soundtrack by Sidney Sager and the Ambrosian Singers to 1977's Children of the Stones lends an incredible amount of atmosphere to this dark fantasy serial.
Yes, please.
heavy breathing, howling, and choral chanting set up what essentially feels like my first folk horror book for children. Science fiction and pagan rituals collide within an intelligent script that never talks down to its young audience.
I don't know. I was flung against a stone, and as I touched it, I felt this terrible pain.
Instead, Children of the Stone seeks to thrill, excite, and fear in equal measure, ramping up the tension to a finale that feels successfully earned. It's dark programming, sure, but also one of extremely high quality. A highly recommended watch, for sure. What's your earliest memory of being scared by the telly? Let us know in those comments below.